Hey, I'm Decathlon Gamer. Welcome back to Draft Day Sports College Basketball 2022. We're on episode number 10, and we are entering season number 2. We're still summer period. This is kind of where we started with when it came to season 1. We're in the early recruiting. In fact, I'm in just week 2 of recruiting. 2 weeks into recruiting, and guess what? We have a success. We had, what was it, 3 total successes last year in terms of speaking to athletes and getting a response that was not negative, getting anything. 3 times that happened the entire season. I just started my first call of week number 2, and we got a response. This was one of the guys that's cool on us. There are two-star guys that are cool on us, but we've done it. We've gotten somewhere with one of these guys. So that is huge. While I've got him on the phone, why don't we try something else? But look at that. A second positive response in the same phone conversation. Yeah, Lawrence CLYBURN. Playing time, but location is big for him. Now, here's what I'm doing in terms of the recruits that I'm going after this season. First off, the entire group of 8 players in the entire nation, in the entire basketball community, there are 8 players that have any interest in coming to play for us. 6 of those are 1-star guys. The majority of those are well down the rankings. Okay, but I have 2 2-star guys. CLYBURN was one of those. So we just made some progress with CLYBURN. From the looks of things, he's got a high steal rate. The assists are okay. He's a decent scorer for a point guard. For us, that's probably a good thing. Last week I tried talking to Watson and a couple of these guys briefly. They won't give me the time of the day at the moment. But the difference between last season and this season is I am 100% going for local players. Just Oregon. Because A, there's the 8 players, and they all happen to be from Oregon that are cool on us. But then I just included the rest of the Oregon players outside of the 1-star guys that aren't at least cool on us. So 2 stars and above. And I think that's going to give us a lot better chance of getting more than just a single recruit this season. It's not happening quickly, but it is happening. Where last season it felt like a 1 in a million shot, this season it is clear, very, very clear, that I'm a level 6 versus the level 1 that I was, because I've already had my 3rd success in just the 5th recruiting week of the season now. Still off-season stuff, but we've made that progress. So Watson cares about playing close to home. Okay, that's big. We have the main thing to recruit him on. There's nothing much more that we need to necessarily get into. And look at that. As we continue on with the phone conversation, it's like we have momentum. Neither of them went to our school. They're very wealthy. Money was never an object in the house. Knowing information about the parents always makes a difference. And yeah, okay, lost the connection part, but yeah, we're getting somewhere, because that was just successes 3 and 4. But again, twice now, same phone conversation led kind of further down the pathway of figuring out more. But now we know a little bit about Watson. We know a little bit about CLYBURN. We know that both are recruitable, and we know that both are point guards. So theoretically, as bad as we are, we're probably not going to land both. But you would think, in theory, there's a great chance that, well, not a great chance. There's a chance that we should be able to recruit one of these 2 players, especially with how much they care about location and how both are from Oregon. So for this guy, great outside shooter, good point guard, certainly capable as a scorer for our level, according to our scouting right now, which is not good. It's all over the place. But overall, national ranking of 682, that's a third of the way down the list. But that's better than 2/3 of the players out there. Meaning, to us, this is likely going to be a much better player than quite a few of the guys on the team. And regardless, for me, recruiting is simply about recruiting in the short term so that we get better. And we're already seeing the fruits of that labor from last season. We failed and failed and failed and failed, and we recruited a single player all year. But we're seeing the payoff already with numerous successes to open this season. I don't think we're suddenly going to be great recruiters, but it's evident that we have made progress. Terrible defender. I hate that, but I'm going to have to suffer through a couple seasons of not having the players I want to have until we get good enough at recruiting that I can actually start targeting specific recruits. We haven't even built Oregon as a pipeline yet because the team that we inherited was from Illinois, on the opposite side of the country, for those who don't know where it is. And we're quite far away from there and had 0 Oregon players. DePina is an Oregon player. All those transfers, not Oregon players. The ones from Idaho, that helps. That's regional. It's next door. And we have one new walk-on for this season from Oregon. So we have 1 scholarship player and 2 total players from Oregon and 1 nearby Idaho, and that's it. So we have to build from the ground up literally everything with this program, other than the fact that, we inherited some players that didn't win a lot of games, got us relegated in the first season, and now we don't even have a conference. So there's that. And we go forward just 2 more weeks until we have another success playing close to home. Very important for Damon Robinson. So this is now the 3rd player, and if you count the successive ones, it's already our 5th total success. Yeah, this is all much, much more than what we had been getting before. This time, no additional one, but still, all in all, it's quite clear that we're doing a lot better with this than we were in past seasons. I will not show you each and every one of these, as we're now going from nothing to it's the definite occasional success this season. So just getting information out of the players, we won't bother with that. There is a couple things we'll bother with, and hopefully I'll be showing you one of those before too long. In the short term, I want to get through all of the players that are cool on us and at least know about the playing time part, to know if it's a factor, to know if it's worthwhile to recruit them in that manner. It sounds like we should be able to get that done in a reasonable amount of time. So on with that task for me. Amazingly enough, it's already September. We've already reached the first contact period that's going to take place now and cover half the contact periods we get for the season. This is the time where we were able to recruit DePina a year ago. Let's get into that recruiting, and I'll let you know where we are at on things. Now, I've been doing a lot of scouting, and there are plenty of players here that have some quality in terms of that overall, but they don't like us, and we haven't gotten anywhere with them. Now, I made it through a 4th player in the couple more weeks since I last showed you what we had. So I now know about 4 players. CLYBURN cares about location. They all care about location, okay? I have 2 point guards, and from scouting, he's athletic, good outside shooter, good passer, okay ball handler, okay scorer, good stealing, so while he's not going to be great defensively, he can be beat. He will steal the ball, at least get it back for us. Overall, as a B minus, for us, that's probably pretty dang good. Watson, the counterpart, also not a good defender. Similar on that outside shooting, fairly decent scoring, fairly good passing, better ball handler, okay as a rebounder for a point guard, and will steal the ball a fair bit, and also a B minus. He was 2 stars. He's now seen as a 1 star. He was seen in the 600s in the rankings, or maybe 700s in the rankings. He's now down to about 1,000, but that's still right about halfway through the 1,900 or so players. The next 2 on my list, who are definitely better than the others in terms of the rankings, they've also slipped. GRADY was about 900, now 1,100. Robinson was about 1,000, now about 1,200. But they're coming in scouting wise as B minuses, and I've managed to get through both GRADY and Robinson to learn a little bit about them. And looking at the profile here, GRADY actually looks pretty decent. He's a good scorer. For us, that's huge, right? And even if this scouting is off, even if he's only a C, this could be big for us because we don't have high-level scorers. He's athletic. He plays defense. He can shoot outside or inside. He's not going to throw the ball away too often. He's not a ball handler. He's more of a catch-and-shoot kind of guy when it comes to that part, or catch and pass. And while he's not going to block a shot, I'm totally okay with that. I actually like this recruit a lot. For a 1-star player, that is. Robinson isn't half bad either. He can defend better than what we have on the team now. He can shoot outside or inside. He is going to score some points. He's not going to cough up the ball. He'll get some steals. He'll get some rebounds. He's just horribly unathletic. The amazing thing here, completely irrelevant and does not make any difference, but he's from the same high school that DePina is from. Based on what I'm getting out of these 4 guys, GRADY is the top defender, is going to be, and athletic, is going to be my top other prospect. And the 2 point guards who I already offered scholarships to, I have 3 to offer right now. But we get to visit 4, and we're going to visit those 4. Start with them, see where we're at. Guaranteed, they're not all going to like me. We had 1 previously. It is entirely possible that 2 or even 3 of these guys, or maybe even all 4, are going to be down to no interest by next week. And here is our results for the first round of visits. Robinson can't see himself playing for us. Nothing personal. Big decision. Okay, so Robinson looks like he's out. GRADY? Yeah, same. Watson. Okay, Watson said some things that really hit home. Gave him something to think about. Who knows, maybe I'll end up going with you, but you're definitely in the running. Okay, that's decent. CLYBURN. Visit went really well. Okay, so not bad. Not bad. Watson, fairly good return on that one. CLYBURN was great. GRADY and Robinson, not so good. Coming up on scheduling next, but let's get into the recruiting yet again. So Robinson is still cool on us. GRADY, not so much. I'm going to give GRADY one more shot. In fact, I'm going to give all 4 of them one more shot before I move on to somebody else. But if GRADY doesn't like us again, if we stay at none interest, I'll drop him after this week. So it looks like we're going to be in for a short season as we have no actual conference that we're in. So our regular season record is going to be what everything's based on, whether we get promoted or not. But it's fewer games than we're normally going to play, and we have 0 chance of making a postseason tournament like this. but it's going to be all about whether we can get ourselves back up to Conference V or not. Not worried about whether it actually happens this season. It'd be nice. Right now, I'm much more focused on developing our skills as coach so that we can recruit better players, so that we can hire better coaches, that we're more effective at our job. Okay, so CLYBURN for a second time has said the visit went really well, which means he's gone from warm to hot. And there's a message here that says, "My decision." Just want to let you know I made my decision. I decided to go to Washington State. Oh, man. Well, I get it. Much more prestigious school. You cared about location. You're from Oregon. That's neighboring Washington State. And WSU is in the far, far reaches, but this game does not care about that actual distance. It's just the next state over, according to them. So the one guy who things have gone really well with through our first couple visits and was very much looking like a DePina type situation has opted to go somewhere else because we weren't the only ones recruiting him heavily. Okay, Robinson still can't see himself playing for us, so that's not going well. GRADY, not going well. Watson, and not going well. So 1 out of 4 players, as the sun decides to hit me in the face here, I'll fix that in a second, but 1 out of 4 players liked us, and he's the first one to make a decision. All right, so that's 3 players out. GRADY and Robinson also are down to very much cool. Watson has stayed cool. We had 1 positive and 1 not good report, but we have stayed cool when it comes to him. So let's continue to pitch Watson and hope that it can go the right direction. I'm nervous about Watson. I don't feel like it's going particularly well. So what we have right now is 4 players left that are cool on us, and 2 of them are more highly rated than others. But are they, though? Only 1 other point guard. Great ball handling, good passing, good stealing, good outside shooting. Just he's not going to score points himself, and he's going to get scored on. But that might be a better option for us. Spatola, the center, not a good defender, but he's a great inside scorer, and he's a good scorer, so he's going to score a lot of points. He's not going to do other things for us very well, but he is going to score points. So we will give him a shot. Apparently we are number 5 on his list. Got a good chance of that going up. Now, it's not exactly the best tactic. There's a great chance that it's just not going to work out. However, I think I'd rather take a shot in the dark at a good player than settle for really bad players who are not going to help the program. A couple guys that are a C, they're still going to be there, I would think, by the time we get to the later proceedings. So Vincent Garnett, I don't have a scholarship to offer him right now, but I am going to pitch to him to come play for us, as he is a significantly better player. So if we can convince him, looky, Vincent Garnett, as in the one who was not cool on us. I think he might be now. Just want to let you know that you said some things on the visit that really hit home, gave me something to think about. So we had a success on the Vincent Garnett visit. Spatola? No. Steve Thompson? No. Mark Watson? Nope. Practice ready to begin. I think I might have 1 contact week left. I hope I do. Hopefully. Yes, 1 more contact week, and there it is, Vincent Garnett. And he just went from a 2-star to a 3-star. He is now a 3-star, 382nd, and he likes us. You better believe we are going to throw the kitchen sink at this guy at the moment. Location. Visit recruit. We got a shot. We've got a shot at Garnett. Watson's done. That was a whole lot of talking without making any progress with him. Spatola and Thompson both out. All right, with my options extremely limited, I'm going to take my my shot in the dark on the remaining guys here. At least one of them, Stephen Fox, B- small forward. We will recruit him. You know what? I need a point guard. Really, really need to get a point guard in. Craig Turner's not going to be interested in us. I think I need to try Mark Watson. Let's get back to offering him a scholarship. We did have one okay return on him. We've got to try again. Let's also take a shot at the dark and push it a little bit further. Let's host recruit Mark Watson for a visit. Jermaine Babel, not somebody I want to go after, but we've got to try something in terms of building up what we have. So we will at least visit the recruit. We're not going to offer him a scholarship at this point, but we got to try to do something with what we have. All right, so Babel was happy. That was good. Watson, nope, still a no for him. Fox, a no. Garnett, yeah, Garnett, good. Okay, and Watson came to campus and wasn't worthwhile. So we're not going to get a point guard this way. But boy, oh boy, Garnett is happy. And Garnett's going to Oregon State. I had an offer in for you, but okay. It says there's no offer here. Robinson going to Portland State. So disappointing that he ended up picking Oregon State. For me, though, he seems like a perfect Oregon State type candidate. He's on the outside looking in, but he's State of Oregon, and you know that this is that team that struggles in the Pac-12. Really poor record, and a weak recruit like that, he'd be happy to play for a Pac-12 school. Not necessarily us. He would star for us, but he could make it there. Well, not a good phase. We are down to literally one player, and he's still cool. He didn't even go warm out of that. I'm not liking our chances of getting anybody recruited. But here's the thing. Transfer portal worked out really well last season. I could see us succeeding with the transfer portal again. And in the short term, maybe that's where we have to go. But the thing is, I have to keep trying. I have to keep plugging away at this. Otherwise, I'm not going to get better. And to eventually get after a Vincent Garnett and get him signed, and a Greg Turner, to get after those better players, we have to just keep plugging away in these early seasons. Develop our craft. And Mark Watson is headed to UC Santa Barbara. So that is that point guard that we were really after. He's signed, even though we're into a quiet period, and he's out. One good thing, though, is it looks like my assistant coach has actually done something for us. Winston GRAWER, who we had nothing on, is now cool on us. So, yeah, our assistant coach actually had a success, which means I'm from 1 up to 2 players that are cool on us now, which is good because, you know, we had 8 and we were down to 1, and it was literally one of the worst guys around. This GRAWER doesn't look too bad. All right, so I think it's time to evaluate the team as we prepare for the season and set our depth chart. So let's start with the walk-on. Okay, if you don't know what a walk-on is, if you're not from the U.S. So in the U.S., we have scholarships that pay for your schooling, right? These are supposed to be unpaid amateur athletes, but they get a full ride or a partial ride, as in they get a scholarship that pays for school and then gives them like cost of living money, but not actual like you're paid to be here. Anyway, Stephen Jennings as a walk-on is somebody who himself is paying for school, or, you know, student loans are paying for school. But he's played some basketball, and he comes to practice, and he makes the squad. Walk-ons tend to get very few minutes, or if they end up legit and end up really good, then the coach will give them one of those scholarships come the next season that's available. Jennings does not look like that kind of player. With 10s, I'm assuming that's kind of the minimum, or at least it looks like it's the minimum rating for a player anyway. So based on this, Jennings is garbage time only. He won't play otherwise. So that means I have 2 point guards in contention for the starter's job and for all of the minutes to be shared between them. Wade Dyer, an unhappy sophomore who struggled a bit. Looks like he's mid-range, 75%, outside shooting 25% of the time. He is going to pull up and shoot 3 out of 4 times. He'll drive the other. He's not a good inside shooter, but he is a good outside shooter. He's okay as a free throw shooter, for our level, that is. And for a point guard, terrible passing and mediocre ball handling. He's not going to score often. He's not good on defense. He's athletic, mediocre, other stats. Wade Dyer does not look good. Senior transfer, JoJo Hollis. Not a great shooter, but a much better scorer. So he's still going to have more points than Dyer, even though he's not a great shooter. He's going to miss some shots, though. Not a great passer, but he's better than Dyer. He is a much better ball handler, at least according to my scouting. He's going to draw more fouls and get to the free throw line, where he's very good at taking free throws. He is going to grab some rebounds, and he is a quality defender. For me, this is a no-brainer. This is your starter. Driving the lane fairly often is good for 2 reasons. 1, with quality ball handling, he's not going to lose the ball when he drives. 2, he's going to draw some fouls. Also, he's going to pass off and get assists. He has good discipline. He's not going to commit many fouls, and he's a good defender. While he's not going to steal the ball a lot, it's going to be difficult for other point guards to create. He has good court IQ, meaning he will pick out the right pass. He's just not great at the skill necessarily. And with the athleticism, I could see this guy, career best 21 points. He's a good scorer. I could imagine half of those coming from the free throw line. And 8 assists in one game. That's drive and dish. Motion, flex. High post needs some work, but he'll be okay. He'll get there. Good man-to-man defense. And he's learning the 1-3-1. We'll be okay with this guy. Yeah, he's going to start. On to the shooting guard position, where I have 3 options. Well, I have 5 technically, but 2 of them are redshirting this year. So Brent Gross. Okay, so we have a semi-capable inside shooter, fairly decent outside shooter, okay-ish, tolerable free throw level, not the worst ball handler that you're going to see, but he's never going to score because his scoring is literally minimum. His shot blocking is minimum. His passing, rebounding, defensive ability are quite bad. He is a catch and shoot, as he's only going to drive 10% of the time, and he's mostly a mid-range shooter that doesn't shoot well anyway. But if he's a catch and shoot 90%, but he only scores at a 10% rate, that's a player that's going to be very confused, I would think. Does not look ready to give minutes of any quality or quantity. That leaves us with Landon ONEIL, one of our transfers. He is a senior. High mid-range. He's also going to shoot majority of the time, but not as bad. Good for the man-to-man. Does not know the 1-3-1 very much yet. Good for the motion. Good for the high post. Needs to learn the flex still. and has some quality but not great quality throughout. Will handle the ball well, very athletic, pretty decent in the discipline and court IQ area, and that's still one of our better rebounders, I would think. Good chance of being the starter, but let's see how he compares with the other shooting guard. This one's a senior, the other one's a junior. Corey Moore, also a transfer. He's going to pull up and take the outside shot a bit more, but his shooting is very similar. He does not shoot well inside, though. Free throws is a bit better, but his drawing fouls is really low. Better ball handler, right? Passing similar. Scoring's not great. A little bit better rebounder, I want to say. Defensive ability is tolerable. I think these two could absolutely split minutes, but this guy is going to catch and shoot 95% of the time. Between Moore and ONEIL, I think you're looking at something pretty even. ONEIL's going to score a little bit more than Moore will. Sorry, Moore is going to score a little bit more than ONEIL, but ONEIL's going to give you a little bit better defense. I think you have a legitimate shot here of really splitting time amongst these two guys. General comparisons between two players looks a little bit easier now at small forward and power forward, as there's just two, and I can see at least our interpretation of their attributes directly head to head. Lawrence and walk-on senior Ramage, both seniors by the way, similar inside. Ramage actually a little bit better outside, but huge difference in free throws towards Lawrence. Better scoring in Lawrence, as Ramage is never going to look to score where he's at the minimum. Passing, handling, rebounding, all favoring Lawrence by quite some bit, and a huge advantage towards defense, blocking, stealing. Yeah, it's quite clear who the choice is on this one. Lawrence is your starter. At power forward, we have Wallace, we have Singletary. Wallace definitely offering more than Singletary, but not by crazy amounts. Singletary is actually pretty good, deserves some minutes, and maybe Singletary is your backup for Lawrence and Wallace, getting him some decent minutes. And Ramage is mostly just garbage time as a senior walk-on anyway. And finally, we have our take on our three centers. Let's see if we can compare them just from this screen a little bit more easily. Best inside shooter is Morton, but he's not good on jumpers at all. None of them can take a free throw. None are great scorers, but McIntyre is definitely the best. He's also the best passer. Similar for handling, all three. Rebounding, big edge to McIntyre. Also for defense, and I think that's pushing him ahead. Blocking, stealing. Morton's good at drawing fouls, but he's not good at taking free throws, so that's useless. Defensive intelligence, big advantage. The athleticism for Holcomb is good, but that's about it. McIntyre, you want taking the bulk of your time for sure. And here's how the depth chart looks at this point. So Hollis getting 28 a game, ONEIL 22, really splitting his time with Moore getting 18 minutes off the bench. Singletary getting 22 off the bench, split between small forward and power forward as the primary backup to both of them. So Lawrence getting 28 minutes, Wallace getting 30, and then McIntyre playing 32. Now, he was slated for quite a bit more than that, but I don't think he's going to be capable. The athleticism isn't that high. I don't think he's going to be able to play 36, 38 minutes a game. 32 out of 40 is already, that's quite a bit. Off the bench for him, Holcomb and Morton splitting 4 minutes each. Giving them a shot. We'll see as the season goes on if one of them is a standout compared to the other one. And then give them all 8 minutes. Once that happens, the rest of these guys, just garbage time. Really, we have 3 players getting the bulk of the minutes off the bench. 4th one getting the rest. It's not uncommon to have a rotation of 8 at this level. or even at the NBA level for that matter. All right, folks, that's going to do it for this episode, though. It looks like we are set to begin what is going to amount to a short season. We're going to have quite a few fewer games than what we'll have in a typical season, as we are independent this season. We'll have a few extra games for the non-conference season compared to the typical team, but only a few extra. And then we lose all of those conference games. I'm Decathlon Gamer. Like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Have a good one. Be safe out there. Bye for now.